study guide review. Before we take the summative, right off the bat, best of luck to everybody. We're going to go through each of these problems and see how you did. So number one, again, we talked about this on the last set of videos for that minor summative review that we have to read carefully. It says circle all numbers not equal to 50%. I want everything that is not equal to 50%. So we have fractions, we have and decimals in here. Fractions and decimals. Now remember, more than one fraction can equal this because we can have equivalent fractions. But I can only have one decimal that's equal to 50%. So let's start there. If I have 50% and I want to turn it into a decimal, what do? I want to move my decimal 2 times to the left, Beyonce's favorite thing to do. So if we have 50%, we have to move the decimal. Where is the decimal though? It's invisible. Math people are lazy. We're not going to write that decimal at the end if we don't have to. And like we said, we're going to move it to the left 2 times. So we end up with 0.50. Is that the same thing as B? Yeah. And if they had just written it as 0.5, that's the same thing too. Because it's 0 at the end, that doesn't matter. So B is equal. We don't want to circle that. We're looking for things that are not equal. But this decimal down here, 0.05, is that the same? Very similar. This is 5/100ths. This is 50/100ths, different numbers. So D is not equal to 50%. They are not the same. It says circle all numbers, so there might be more than one. We need to check to see. So now that we have this as a decimal, we can take that decimal and put it into a fraction form and see if these ones, if any, are equal. So to go from a decimal to a fraction, remember we look at place value. Here we have 5 in the tenths, and the 0's in the hundredths. So when we're setting up our fraction, our denominator is going to be whatever place value we have that's the largest, which is 100. Then the numerator, my number up top, is going to be my number without the decimal. So it'd be 50 over 100, which looky there, we already have that. That checks out. That is equal. But now we have this fraction 1/2 up top. We need to see if we can simplify 50 over 100 to equal 1/2. One way that I can think about this is I can work backwards. If I did 2 times what number, what would give me 100? 2 times what? 2 times 50 would give me 100. 50 plus 50 is 100. 2 quarters plus 2 quarters is $1. If that same thing is true up top, then that means those fractions are equivalent. Is 1 times 50 50? Yeah. So that means that yes, those fractions are equal to each other. If you don't like that working backwards, where you're looking to see what number you can multiply to get to those fractions, you could also look at this as a division problem. 50 divided by 50 gives me 1. 100 divided by 50 gives me 2. You could have also divided by 10, by 5, by 2. You just need to keep simplifying until you could see if it got all the way down to 1/2, which it should. So number 1, the only thing you should have circled, the only thing not equal to 50% was D, 0.05.